Hi and welcome to this new episode of The Light Leaders. Today I'm again with Rishi Vasu. Thank you so much for joining us. And we've both been on a fasting journey in the past months, and we'll talk about our experience. So Rishi is not only experienced himself with fasting, but you've also supervised people, and you're also a medical doctor. You're part of the research on it. So I'm very excited to be talking with someone with whom we can share the experiences, but also go into the research. And we'll talk also about nutrition. As usual, you'll have chapters under the video so you can navigate in your own way. And if you want to share this video, like or subscribe, please do, to support the Light Leaders podcast. Thank you for your time and your attention.
Welcome.
You,
Thank
Rishi,
you
for being here.
Thank you for inviting me to this beautiful journey of sharing our experience with.
Yes. To start with, what are you grateful for right now?
I'm grateful for having this opportunity because you and me, we both did the fasting. Maybe you can start sharing your experience, then I will start sharing. And it was such a beautiful experience, and we are having this opportunity to share it with our friends. So I'm very grateful for that. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. So I'll start sharing with the fact that why do I have this turban? Because fasting got me enlightened, so now I wear it. Now I want to look like a sage. I did some cupping and I have things on my head, so I thought that was a good opportunity. We shot the yoga episode before. By the way, if you watched the yoga episode before, we didn't answer why the Buddha ended up at some point being fat. We'll answer it in this episode.
Yes.
I'll make a note of it. So, regarding fasting, I did a 40-day water-only fasting.
14.
14? Yeah. Say 40. Next time.
40.
14 days. I wanted to go for 10. I did 14 days. I was following mainly the system of a guy called Lauren Lockman that I've had here on that podcast, who's been supervising about 15,000 fasts, some remotely, some in his fasting center in Costa Rica. And they're very healing of the body focused. So I think today we'll talk also about more on the spiritual side, but for him it's really like heal the body, get rid of mucoid plaques for people who are already healthy like I was, but most of his clientele would be people who have quite strong disease and often have tried many things and then revert to fasting because it's not the main thing people advise in the medical world at first. And the average in his center is 26 days, so they're pretty long fast, water only, and his system is really to heal the body. You want to, it's not fasting that heals, it's resting. And fasting is part of that deep resting. And so he advises to do almost like as little as possible because the resting is the healing. So not only you only drink water, but you also avoid being in the sun too much. You avoid like doing anything too physical. You don't want to go too much on walks, and you don't want to read much. You don't want to talk to friends much. Watch videos much. You want to really like sleep, relax, rest as much as possible. I did in that way. He's also a fruitarian, so I'm also close to that. So I'm since I broke my fast also with a little bit of papaya, then more papaya and coconuts. And so that's pretty much the modality I did. I released quite a lot of mucoid plaques. I felt very weak during it. It was quite hard. The mind was getting bored. I did a documentary that will be posted. And now after 10 days I've finished, took a week of refeeding, and I'm feeling better and better, feeling really good, and it's been like a nutshell, a very good experience. Then in the 2-hour documentary, people will have much more details.
Lovely.
Yeah. How about you, brother? How was your 21-day water fast experience?
It was a beautiful experience. Earlier I have done only 7-day, 10-day, 11-day. Maximum I did 11-day. After this medical research happened. Before, in my young age, I have done 40 days fasting, but that was more like spiritual fasting in the ashram.
And that's
where-
40.
40, that's not 40. And that is part of deep tantric transformation. When you go to a tantra school, even I was reading somewhere, Pythagoras, he wanted to have a experience of a mystery school. So he went to a mystic school somewhere, and they asked him to do 40 days fasting. And he
Only
said,
water.
Only water. Fasting traditionally means only water. It's only recently when people are so addicted to food that they have found different variations, juice fasting or this fasting, that fasting, butter fasting. But traditionally fasting means water only, and in some cases not even water. So he was asked to do 40 days fasting, and he said, why should I do fasting? I have come here to learn something about meditation and things. And they said, no, this meditation is such a thing that you cannot learn it until you go through a transformation, until you go through a detox process. So a certain kind of breath work was given to him during that fasting, and otherwise you won't get admission in this school. So he was rejected many times. Finally he agreed, and he did 40 days fasting, went through that process, and at the end of it he said he got the admission in that mystery school, and he said, you are not giving admission to the same person. I'm a different person after doing that breath work and detox process, and I am ready to learn now. And then he was given a tantric method to practice for awakening his third eye. He was interested in working on the Agya chakra, which is between your eyebrows and the third eye. These two eyes open outside, and this one eye opens inside. So that's why it's also called insight. Vipassana, the other name for Vipassana is insight meditation. This eye, third eye, when it opens, then you become clairvoyant, and the inner world is no more dark for you. The darkness, inner darkness disappears, and the whole inner world becomes luminous, full of light. So traditionally in all those tantric schools, mystery schools, when you go there, they will not teach you directly. They will first ask you to do fasting, go through a transformative process, do some breath work, catharsis, and then you will be given the meditation to practice. And then it's very fast growth happens, because all the blockages are removed, all the plaque, as you were talking about, mucus plaque is removed, and then the energy starts flowing smoothly from through all the chakras. It starts flowing, the energy. First the energy which you have available, and then the higher level of energy like Kundalini energy is awakened, and then there is no more barrier. So it flows very smoothly through your chakra system. So fasting has always been part of yogic tantric system in our tradition. So anything else you want to add to it? My own experience.
Well, you talked about the 40 days. I first asked you also about that 21 day, but you can talk about both, obviously.
Yeah. So that 40 day, I will talk about it later. But recently, in 2016, a Japanese doctor did research on fasting in context of cancer cells. And that doctor got Nobel Prize in 2016.
You have his name?
I have his name. What is his name? I always forget.
Yoshinori Ohsumi.
Can you give my phone? I think I have written it. We will put it on the description. Yoshinori Ohsumi. Yoshinori Ohsumi. He did the research. And then the whole medical world got shocked by it, because in the medical schools we were taught everybody should eat every 2 hours, 3 hours to keep your metabolism high. You should eat very often instead of having 1 meal or 2 meals. And we found out that it was all wrong. And actually it was sponsored by the food industry.
Often is.
Never human beings have
Surprise.
never been eating so often in the whole history of mankind. Yeah.
Actually, from Lorek Lockman, I heard that the Hippocrates quote, "Let the food be the medicine and the medicine be the food," apparently was shortened from. Then there was an addition, but to feed someone who is already sick is to feed his sickness.
Exactly. So I think long time ago people already knew this. I have found text in 100-year-old medical book that the best medicine is to fast and rest. But that was put aside, all that wisdom. And then you see, after 1970, all kind of metabolic diseases started growing. There's like a pandemic started of diabetes to heart disease, blood pressure. All these things started growing after 70 because that's when the food industry came in. And they started a joint venture, food industry and pharmaceutical company. So I call them mafia of the soul. Sorry to use such a strong word, but they feed. You see, doctors could not do any research for a long time against the pharmaceutical company or food industry because you don't bite the hands which feed you, right? You get money from pharmaceutical company. You cannot do any research which shows that their medicine makes you addicted to them.
Plus, it's hard because there's no financial incentive because
Exactly.
then you're like, oh well, you should do water fasting. Well, it's harder business.
Exactly. So, I was reading a joke from my master, from my guru Osho. He was saying there was a doctor, very famous doctor, and he sent his son to study medicine. And when his son came back, and the doctor said, "I'm going for a holiday. Now you have come back, you can take care of our family clinic." They were doing it for many generations. So the son started working in the clinic. When father came back from the holiday, the son was very excited. "Dad, this rich woman who was sick for a long time, I cured her. You are going to be so proud of me. She became well now. Her disease disappeared."
Are you crazy?
Father got furious. "Are you crazy? She is the one who has sponsored your whole medical education. Now you cured her. You think I could not have cured her? I kept her that way. So he will go on paying for your education."
Yeah.
So this is when some of my doctor friends, they will say, "Oh, this is such a good season." People are getting very sick.
Well, actually, I read from Osho, he's saying in villages in India, the doctor used to be paid better when people were not sick.
Exactly.
And now it's the opposite.
Now it's the opposite. So, at some point, I felt like this is very corrupt practice. I'm not against any doctors, so they are doing great work. If you have an accident, if you have a chronic disease, of course you go there. But hey, 70%, 80% of our diseases can be cured without medicine, and they are mostly psychosomatic, and because of the wrong diet, wrong lifestyle, that can be addressed by yoga, meditation, tantra, right diet, fasting, making a few small changes in your lifestyle can have a drastic impact on your health.
Yeah, and we're laughing here because we've seen how it works in that world for a while, but of course there's a lot of people suffering and having a lot of disease, and so even though nothing here is medical advice, because at the same time we want to make sure we provide people tools to self-discover and understand what is really serving them and their health.
Yeah. So coming back to my fasting experience, first 3 days are always nightmare for any faster, anybody who is doing fasting, because when you stop eating, your body has two inbuilt systems. Okay, one is that it can run on dietary energy, and the second system you have is when you don't have dietary energy, it can run on stored energy, which is fat, basically. And the way we are...
Okay. My understanding of it is first, so what's in your belly, so you eat the reserves, then is it glycogen from the liver? And from what I understand, then it starts more with the muscle because it's easier, and then more the fat.
I would not put it that way.
Okay.
I mean, the point is, most people have energy toxicity. You know, another thing the food industry did, everywhere you go, airport, train station, you see carb, 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 fat, 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 or different combination of carb and fat, refined fat. Refined carb, refined fat. You have a croissant with chocolate. You have a donut or bread with butter and jam.
And the chocolate's not raw cacao.
No. So everywhere you go, I was visiting Japan with Leela, and every, what is that called? That train station, we went, huge amount of sugar.
Yeah, and I mean, I can tell you, Rishi, my audience, they're like deep into that, so you don't need to convince them at all about how crappy the food system is or the big pharma.
What I'm trying to say is there is carb, carb, carb.
Yeah.
And that created energy toxicity in the whole population.
Yeah.
And energy toxicity means
refined carb, because like fruits are carbs.
Refined carb, yeah. I'm talking about
processed.
Yeah. If you eat food the way it is found in nature, your body recognizes it. Body knows how to deal with it. But if you eat food, refined food, body has no clue what to do with it. So the out of proportion hormonal response comes in your body, and that's where the problem starts. Yeah. Because if you eat an apple or a banana or mango, as you like mango so much, or papaya, then, or a potato, then the body will have response, hormonal response, or spinach. But that is in proportion to the food you have eaten. But if you eat, suppose 100 calorie of cookie you eat, and 100 calorie of spinach, the body will have totally different response,
of course.
Right? So cookie will give you out of proportion response. Refined sugar will give out of proportion response. And that out of proportion response makes the body insensitive to insulin. And when body is insensitive to insulin, then it's not absorbed in the whole body. Where does it go then? It goes straight to the liver. Sugar, for example, if you take, it goes straight to the liver. Fructose, if you are taking carb, like whole carb, then it is absorbed in all your muscles, the whole body. And if you take fructose and refined sugar, it goes straight to the liver.
Like non-natural fructose. There's a lot of studies on like high fructose corn syrup that create non-alcoholic fatty liver.
Refined, yeah. Fructose we need. Our body is made in such a way that you can store glucose and fructose. So that when you don't have food, why do we store fat in our body? We store fat so that on a rainy day, when we don't have food, we can use it as a source of energy. But that rainy day never comes now. There is always availability of food. So that's where fasting comes in. So the first 3 days, body switches from the dietary energy to stored energy. And there is a lag. There is a period of lag when it has not switched yet. So you have exhausted your dietary energy, but it has not started access the stored energy, and that lag feels like I'm going to die. You're not going to die. It's just wait for half an hour, 1 hour, the energy is released. So that period is where people give up fasting, the first 3 days. And if you push it there, or some people third day so hungry that they eat. But when you have completed 3 days minimum, you should push it to 5 day or 7 day. Because then the beauty of fasting starts when hunger disappears, and you are, after 4th day, you are like in a euphoric state when body is totally powered by the stored energy, and you are so happy and joyful and brain works sharp.
I'll talk for you. That didn't happen to me. I was like, day 4, I was like, you'll see my documentary. I was in bed like, very weak.
So what's the moral of the story? Do it under guidance, under medical guidance. This is the moral of the story, because you decided to do it on your own.
Yeah.
Then it's hard.
Yeah, but I've had like hundreds of hours of research on it, so I really knew what I was doing.
I know.
And I've actually done fasts where on day 4 I go surfing or I go running. And to me the difference, not so much about to me the big difference is if I stay active or not. If I stay active, if I keep working, keep moving, actually I'm fine. And so when I did 5 days twice, I would keep going by my everyday activity. And I was like, oh, okay, I can just keep going. Yeah, I would feel a bit weak sometimes, but overall, it was good. This time though, and you might disagree with it, and that can be a conversation, but I went purposefully into a fast where I rest as much as possible, because I came from that school of Lauren Lockman, also Alan Goldhammer, True North, and it's like the more you rest, the more you actually heal the body. And so my thought was that by almost forcing me to rest, yes, that sucks a bit, because I'm there in bed, I'm weaker than if I wanted to keep going with my stimulated life, but I feel like I've gone way deeper into the healing, and that was the goal.
May I disagree with you?
Let's agree to disagree.
Let's agree to disagree, yes.
And actually, because I'm not the expert, maybe at some point it'd be good to have you with Lauren Lockman, who's
Yes.
yeah.
According to my research, what I have done is resting and resting is different. What is your definition of resting? I would like to know what you mean by resting. Does it mean lying down in the bed, or does it mean doing activity with mindfulness? Please define.
It means mainly lying down in the bed,
Yes.
and also avoiding any kind of stimulation as much as possible, including even walking, reading, watching videos, talking to people.
Most of it I agree. The one thing I don't agree with is lying down in the bed, because I have seen in the hospitals when somebody has operation, suppose they have fractured their arm and it's fixed and they can't move it. Within a week there is significant decrease in muscle mass. When the scientists go to space, when there is no gravity, when they come back, they have lost significant, almost 40% of their muscle mass they have lost. So the point is that when you lie down in fasting, which many people do, then you start losing muscle at very fast speed. So my definition of rest is you can do Vipassana meditation, you can do walking meditation, you can do some simple stretching. I'm not asking people to go totally do extensive, intensive training or cycling or very intensive, but keep some resistance on your muscle so that you don't lose muscle during your fast. Because that's a stimulus you are giving to the body that I need this. This part I need. And the things which you don't need, body will use it. For example, the visceral fat or the subcutaneous fat which is under your skin. Visceral fat means the fat which is around your internal organs. Body will go for that, not take energy from your muscle because it sees that you need your muscles. So this is the body wisdom I have noticed. And you see after 21-day fasting at this age, 50 plus age, I have not lost any muscle mass because I did resting, but resting with mindful activity, not intensive exercise. I am against intensive exercise during fasting because then you will, when you see, fat gives you energy slowly. So if I am moving in Vipassana meditation, I am doing walking meditation, I am getting energy from the fat. But if I go for sprinting, for example, then that fast, that need for speed, body will not be able to release energy from fat. Then it will take from the muscle because muscle has glycogen storage. So that way you will lose muscle if you go for speed. If you have need for speed, you will lose muscle during your fasting. But if you go slow, move, the muscle will be protected. But you will not lose but you will use the fat and not lose the muscle.
But to be honest, for me, so I think that's pretty aligned because I think the thing where on all systems they recommend is like, if you try to actually do hard stuff, you actually lose even more muscle.
You do.
That might be counterintuitive, but because you need to eat your own muscle.
But just that at that speed, you will not be able to produce energy. Then that energy will come from the muscle.
But for me, on day 5, 6, when I was the weakest, I couldn't sit like this. I felt too weak. Or even if I went to grab my water, walk 10 meters, I felt super tired, and I thought, great, that means my body's healing. But do you recommend I would have really try to push to walking?
No. I would recommend you to gain some fat before you go for long-term fasting, because suppose you have your ideal body weight, then it's very difficult to go into fasting because from where you will get the energy?
Yes,
if you
but
don't have any fat.
To me, it depends on the goal, because if I want to go as long as possible, of course, it makes sense to get fat before so I can stay longer. But in that case, for me, the goal was to get cleaned as fast as possible. So I thought if I get fat before, then yes, I can do longer, more comfortably, but then I'll need more days to go to the deep, old waist. Well, I think if I go with my normal waist, then maybe for me, in 14 days, I can go to the really old waist and go deep. And maybe it would take like a month for someone who has way more fat, because there's a lot to go through before.
That's valid way of looking at it, because your fasting has so many different ways of doing it, and so many different purposes.
Exactly. So for me, the purpose, it wasn't to do like a long fast claim a certain number of days. It was to heal as deep as possible, as fast as possible. Also,
I wanted to experience the beauty of autophagy. So I wanted to go on longer, even 30 days, 40 days. So I gained weight on purpose, 5 kilo extra. And so you can go 21 day, 30 day. So the purpose was different, and all are good. Sometimes you want to do fasting for losing weight, sometimes you want to do a spiritual fasting, sometimes you want to do fasting for gaining muscle. You can ask me how? Because when you are fasting, you get growth hormone. So those who want to do bodybuilding, they can do shorter fast and get the growth hormone, then go for training, and then eat. So when you eat after fasting and training, then the growth hormone supports you and you build the muscle faster.
Okay, and when you say short, because there's also intermittent fasting people can do.
Short means for muscle building. So for muscle building, you need to do minimum 24 to 30 hours.
Okay.
Then that amount of growth hormone comes, and train. after 24 hours you do training, and then after 30 hours you eat. So when the nutrition goes back to muscle, you have growth hormone support.
And that's what I love with that discussion we're having, is also like, compared to people who have a clinic and there's one way to fast, it's to heal the body because they have disease, and it's beautiful and it's amazing. I think for us, we're interested in different ways to fast. Like one would be, okay, deep healing, cleansing of the body. One would be just a consciousness experiment. How long can I go? One could be without food and still be active. One could be, can I build muscle while drinking water? And all of these are like very beautiful reasons, right?
Yes, yes. Different purposes. What is your purpose? What do you want to get from fasting? Somebody who is overweight, they want to lose weight. Then it's very good. Best way to lose weight is fasting. Don't eat. Stop eating. People ask me how, teach me some yogas to lose fat, to become slim. I said, there is only one yoga for losing fat. Keep your mouth shut at the dinner table. Don't eat. Just stop eating for a period of time, so that when you have so much food in your body, why do you want to put more? Stop eating, and then the body has its own wisdom. It will use what you have stored. That's what you have stored for. So for millions of years, human beings have lived feast and fast, feast and fast. When you have food, you are feasting. When you don't have food, and that's where I seriously disagree with people who think that by fasting you will lose muscle. If it was so, you would not be here, because most of during the evolution of human being, most of the time you did not have enough food. So if you lost muscle, suppose 3 days you could not find food when you were living in the cave, and after 3 days you have lost muscle, you can't find food, so you will die. So there are two kinds of genes in us, and one was that some people did not have this gene that they can go without food. They disappeared. We are still here, that means we have the gene that we can go without food, without losing our strength for a few days, and then we can hunt for food.
Yeah, and to be honest, is the process in nature, right? What do animals do? What does your dog do when it's sick? It doesn't want to eat.
We just saw your cat today catching a mouse.
yeah, he's not really into fasting.
He's not into vegan.
No.
You said to cat, see, I told you to be vegan, and you are bringing a mouse for me.
But by the way, when people, to me also, opposite of that, when human beings being like, oh, I'm doing carnivore, I'm like, the cat, when I eat, like I see the cat grab the mouse and start chewing on the head raw. I'm like, that's a carnivore. Are you tempted? So if you're a carnivore, you are tempted now. That's a real carnivore. A carnivore is not with like salt and the thing and the nuts. It's like, you go into it.
Some people are doing that. I saw a crazy guy, Liver King.
Yeah.
He should not be in the civilization. It's a good idea, but it has not happened to him. The human civilization has not happened.
I don't think he's still like eating from the animal directly.
He is.
Like from the animal.
Directly, he's eating dead frog, or he's killing them and eating directly, taking the liver out and eating.
Okay,
so it's disgusting.
Anyway. We don't
celebrate
the diversity of humanity.
We are not judgmental.
But yeah, for me it's not appetizing when I see the cat eating the rat.
But nature has made him that way.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It's not. He's not going to listen to you.
Yeah.
I saw he even brought the mouse for you.
Yeah.
So you will feel proud of him that you are such a good hunter. You bring for the family, he brought for the family. Yes. So coming back to our civilization, we took a trip to the cave. To our civilization, we were not known as a great hunter, human beings. So sometimes you could find a fruit or a nut. Also people ask me, how much protein should I eat every day? I said, when did you have protein every day in the whole evolution. Never. You're not such a good hunter.
Yeah.
So sometimes you could get a fruit, you could get nuts, you could get a potato, you could get a tomato, and sometimes maybe you caught a rabbit.
Yeah.
And an egg you found somewhere. So that's how our body is meant to be, you know. So the fasting after 7 days it even became better.
Yeah, so you on the night you were.
Yeah, ninth
you were
day I was.
sharp,
Yeah, we were laughing,
Lower
making
too.
fun. Yeah, that was ninth day, and it was so beautiful, such a beautiful experience. The best time of my meditation, when I'm just sitting in the night sometimes because I could not sleep, and the whole energy system, I can feel the sensation in my body and the Kundalini moving without any hindrance. The chakras lightened up. So it was out of world experience after 7 days.
Wow.
Till 7 days it was little struggle. 8th day, 9th day, 10th day. After that I felt like I can go on forever. I don't need to stop, but I stopped because I was feeling little dizzy. So other people could see that I'm little walking like a drunkard. But I could not, I was feeling high. I was in this euphoric feeling where I felt like, wow, I can go without food on the prana energy. But I always stop before, I don't want to go to the extreme.
Yeah.
And I'm not teaching that either.
Yeah.
My teaching is the middle path, the golden middle point.
Talking about middle path, let's go back to
Buddha.
Buddha.
I knew you would come. So, you see, you asked why Buddha became fat.
Yeah, because in the previous episode on the yoga, we talked about like Buddha being actually a yogi.
Yeah. So, you have to understand, Buddha comes from a king's family. King, he was an emperor.
Yeah.
And he left his kingdom. So, obviously, he had a warrior body. Kings were warriors. And he learnt all the martial art at home. And he practiced that kind of Ashtanga style yoga. And that time there was no technology, so most places he was walking there, very physically active person. So you see all the statues of Buddha in India, their chest coming out, belly, there is no belly, very muscular, very well-toned body he had. And he was focusing, that's also a symbol that he was focusing at the tip of the nose. But as Vipassana, his techniques of his meditation techniques moved from India to China, Japan, Tibet, Thailand, Vietnam, then people found out that if you focus on your breath at the point of your navel, close to your navel, you inhale, the belly goes out, you exhale, the belly goes in, up and down. It's easier actually to focus there. It's more relaxing and less stressful when you sit with the chest lifted and focus on your nostril. It creates a little bit of a stress on the body. So it went into more into let go and more into, you can try it.
I'm trying it as you speak. Yeah.
It went into more into let go, relaxation, tantric practices.
Try it at home.
And then all of your viewers, I ask you to experiment with both these things. Sometimes you experiment watching your breath make a triangle here and watch it here. Feel the breath going in and out, and then put your both these thumb at the navel point, and this your point finger going down here, meeting 2 inches below your navel, and focus there. When you inhale, it goes up little, exhale goes in, and that is called hara. The point 2 inches below your navel is your hara center, the center of your life. So you focus there, and you will see the difference. You will become more relaxed, because your life is connected from that center to the universal life force. So that's why when Japanese people, they commit suicide, they put a knife in that center.
Harakiri.
And instantly the life goes out, and it's called harakiri. Don't try it at home. Just focus on the breath.
This is not medical advice.
No, my medical advice, don't try it on your own, don't try at home. Focus there. By focusing at your hara center, sooner or later, you will discover the connection of your life to this body at that center. So that is center of your being. When you discover that connection, you become master of your life and death. You can leave your body the way you leave your clothes. So that's why it goes there. So those statues from Japan and that area became bigger belly, bigger bottom, and a smaller chest. It is symbolic. You see all the Japanese people, they are so slim. Why the Buddha is big? It's a symbol that the whole focus is on the stomach area, not on the chest area. So it's a symbolic that the Buddha, when practiced vipassana around the nose, anapanasati yoga, then the statues were chest coming out, belly going in. When Buddha practiced that meditation in Japan, China, when the focus was the hara center, then symbolically the energy becomes bigger in your hara center and chest is relaxed.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Guruji, for the explanation.
But the other thing I can say, that it's also symbolic that if you are sitting silently doing nothing, you know, the haiku from Basho, a Zen master Basho, he wrote a haiku. Sitting silently, doing nothing, a spring comes and grass grows by itself. I have modified it a little bit. Sitting silently, doing nothing, the spring comes and belly grows by itself. So as a meditator, if you don't take care of your movement, if you don't take care of your diet, you will not explode your energy into enlightenment. Your body will explode. You will become fatter and fatter. So when you are sitting and doing meditation, it's very important for you to take care of your movement, do some Ashtanga Vinyasa yoga, and also take care of your diet. That is very important for a meditator. And that's also the message. Don't become a fat Buddha. Take care of your diet.
Thank you. And going back to the fasting, I'd love to touch on how to do the most important part of the fast, as many people say, which is breaking the fast. Right? What is your
thumb rule you have? If you have done 10-day fasting, then half of that time, minimum 5 days, is the refeeding time. So what happened? Why fasting became unpopular in the world? Because when they did fasting and they did not know about the refeeding, so they started eating suddenly because you feel so hungry and so thirsty that suddenly.
As a parenthesis, I didn't. It took me a while to get my appetite back.
Yeah, but you are trained from before. New people, suppose they are doing 30-day, 40-day fasting suddenly. And then they are super hungry, and then they started eating suddenly, and they died. Why that happens? That when you suddenly feed your body, then the minerals move from your blood to the cell, and the blood becomes like, totally dehydrated. And that's when the heart stops. So in worst cases, one can die during refeeding. So it's very, very important. That's why I say, more than 7-day fasting, if anybody wants to do, new person, for them, my suggestion is do under medical guidance. Don't do it. Don't think I can do it. Please listen to me. I've seen many cases going wrong. Some people can get diarrhea and very bad, like stomach, and all kind of wrong things can happen.
A lot of my, actually, just to share, this fast, I think because I'm quite connected to my body, the body wasn't hungry, and it took a while for the body, but if I was overpowered by my mind, I could have started actually forcing and eating a lot, and that would have been a problem. And my first fast, I was a bit like, even if I did 2 days, then I would freak out and start eating a lot. So I can see how this would happen actually. And the first time I broke fast, even 3 or 4 days, I would have like diarrhea.
Just eat, yeah.
And it wouldn't work well.
It's a panic. But this time you did more like a spiritual fast, and you really went into...
I researched it a lot too. I was like dedicated. I know really a lot now.
You did very well. You did very well. And
that's why I could do 14 days by myself. I planned 10 days. Then I was like, I can do more. I did 14. And honestly, I was getting bored. I had enough. I didn't want to push, but I could have. My body could have gone longer for sure.
But your mind did not overpower you, because you did with awareness and sensitivity and spiritual energy. So that you were master of your body and mind.
And actually, that's why I stopped at 2 weeks, because to me, it wasn't a 2-week fast, it was 3 weeks with 2-week fasting and 1 week refeeding. And if I went 3 weeks, I was afraid that then I wouldn't be able to manage also as well the refeeding. So I think it's more important to think with the refeeding, the whole, like, can I have 3 weeks of willpower, 2 weeks of strong willpower, 2 weeks of fasting, 1 week of refeeding.
Beautiful, beautiful. That's how it should be done, because then you know where to stop. That's the difference between... People ask another question, I can say, it sounds like eating disorder. I say, no, do you wash your hand or not? You wash your hand regularly, but that's not being obsessive-compulsive disorder. Obsessive-compulsive disorder is a pathological state. Eating disorder is a pathological state. You cannot compare it with somebody willingly, voluntarily deciding to take a break from food. And then he can also, he knows where to stop. If I'm done with my fasting, I've achieved my goal, I don't need to go on pushing it. It's not a disorder. It's a conscious decision.
Yeah. And by the way, more than 2 weeks, I think I'd like to be supervised.
Exactly.
But for someone not as deep as me, I think even like 4 or 5 days, get supervision for sure. Like
3 days, anybody can do. They started with me, Sasa and Leela, and third day, because their weight is 40 kilo, 45 kilo, so third day they exhausted their stored fat, and they were not feeling well, so they stopped. So fasting that's the thing. You can start any day, you can stop any day. Whether you eat meat or you eat wheat, doesn't really matter. Whether you are vegan or you are vegetarian, at any point you can start it. At any point, but I am not suggesting what you should eat and what you should not eat. You should eat according to what feels right for you and your body. But in yoga, we always support vegan diet and plant-based diet, but we don't judge you. We're not judgmental. We do.
I love when, in spiritual community, sometimes when people say no judgment, that's actually
judgmental.
Very judgmental.
If you are fucking up your life, it's your freedom. But we are not judgmental and we are not fanatic, and we want you to have fun and enjoy your life, but make sure the minimum decency code for a yogi is non-violence. If you want to progress in the inner journey, do not hurt others. Whether they are animals or you, they are all part of you. All the sentient beings, show respect to them. Really, they are there to love you. You also give them your love. If there is any violence, injustice happening to animals, we cannot be happy with that. So I'm not going too much into the details. I'm just saying being respectful to life and being established in non-violence is part of being a yogi.
And Guruji, I'd like to add a bit to that in that concept of non-violence, I know many people who really wanted to be vegan because they're really close to that and felt problems with it, like they really felt, maybe the pace was too fast or there's something, And I know people who went really consciously to having meat in as conscious a way as you can doing it, the grass-fed, organic, happy cow kind of. And to me, non-violence is try to have non-violence towards others and also oneself. So for me, I have a lot of respect also for people for whom that they really feel, okay, I really need meat sometimes, and I know you agree with that. That if someone really feels that and it's important for their health, they shouldn't be violent to their own self either, and do what they can.
I met a woman a few days ago, and she 7 year, 8 year, last 7, 8 years, she has been a fanatic vegan, and all her muscular structure has disappeared. Her period has stopped. She's just a 30-year-old woman, and her bones have started degenerating. In that case, you have to also see that you are doing a violence to your body, because your body is not able to take energy from genetically or somehow not energy from the plant-based diet. In that case, I would invite you to use intelligence or medical guidance, that what is best for you. So violence, you see, when you do violence to somebody else, at least they can protest, they can go to court. But when you are doing violence to your own body, it can't even go to the court. So that's even worst kind of violence, what people do to their own body. So I would not suggest that. Just use intelligence. See, experiment with different foods, see what works for you, what doesn't work for you, and don't be fanatic, judgmental about anything. Being fanatic only means that you have put your intelligence to sleep and you are going with a very, very narrow mind towards a certain direction. Whether it is right or wrong, you don't care. So that then it's no more yoga.
Yeah. And if you feel you need to eat pig, for example, try and get pig that you don't do too much violence to, because pigs can't go to court either.
That goes without saying, right? And I mean, sometimes you don't need to do that much. Maybe a couple of eggs will be enough for you, So you don't need to even go that far that you go to a pig and ask him to give you his body.
Okay, back to fasting. Like, do you have recommendation on entering and exiting? Is it? I mean, for me, it's been monofruiting. Do you have like specific?
Before starting fasting, you start with good eating. Eat good amount of whole fat and carb and some protein. Prepare yourself for a few days, at least 2-3 days. Feed yourself well, and then you start fasting. According to my experience, it's better to start in the evening. You had your good meal, and then already you get 8 to 10 hours in sleep for free. Then next day you are already, by the time your eating time comes, you have reached 16 hours, you are already in ketosis phase. So your body has started burning fat, so it becomes easier. Coming out of the fast, start with some very simple broth or something, little bit, and then 2 hours wait, then again eat something. So in that way you can start refeeding yourself. And also that way also I feel that best is before sleep, take a small piece of fruit or broth and fall asleep. So then 8 hours again your body is restarting the feeding, and morning you can eat again normal food, a small amount. Suddenly don't do that. So first meal should be always very, very, very light.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that I feel very aligned with that. I had a little bit of papaya before.
Two things I would say. Do not take any milk when you are breaking your fast. Do not break your fast with eggs. Do not break your fast with nuts. These are very difficult to digest, and many people have allergy with these things. So milk, dairy product, egg, and nuts, avoid when you are breaking your fast. Raw vegetable, avoid. Something cooked and light.
Still haven't tried something cooked. But when I tried, for example, at the end of my week of refeeding something like sprouts, it was too harsh.
Too harsh.
Yeah.
Raw, I would say, fruit you can take, little, but vegetables I would not suggest.
Yeah.
It's very hard for the digestive system.
Raw, yeah, raw vegetable.
Raw vegetable is very hard. Salad, no. Big no.
I think we're touching towards the end because it's been close to an hour. That flew by like this.
Yes.
I'd love to ask you just a little bit about, because we talked about it on the yoga, like the right nutrition to combine for yogic practices, more sattvic one.
That's again, what is poison for you can be medicine for somebody else. And what is medicine for you can be poison for somebody else. So again, you have to decide for yourself, experiment with different kind of food and see which food makes you feel the best. Of course, take it for granted, no refined food, no processed food. Eat the food the way it is found in nature, but experiment with different kind of food and see. Nobody can decide it for you except you. You have to see what matches your constitution, your cellular structure best, and then go with that. But minimum gap between your dinner and breakfast should be 16 hours. That's in all yogic tradition, all Buddhist meditation. They stop eating around 11:30, 12, and next meal they take at 7 o'clock. So 17, 18 hour gap is there between and then they have only 2. So minimum decency code, I would say, for a yogi is 16/8 is the best eating protocol for a yogi and meditator.
But by the way, what you said, it's so relevant when you finish fasting, the make your own truth, because and that people are different, because like we can spend 10 hours talking about nutrition and different diets and people pointing science and this and that and what our ancestors used to eat. But to me, the end of fasting has been such a blessing in the way that I can go for my body what is the right food. And so
Beautiful.
I could go, so that's why I kept every food I've done, it's been 10 days, one by one. So I started, I had papaya, felt really good. Then I had a coconut, felt really good. I had a mango, felt really good. I had a watermelon, felt really good. I had grapes, didn't feel good. And I knew already from before, but I thought maybe the grapes helped me detox. And now I'm like, it's not getting me to detox. I just finished a fast. Like it's just
and
my
that
body
coming
doesn't
from
like
a
it.
French guy with grapes,
Yes,
and they have
grapes
fed the whole
only
world.
fermented.
They have fed the whole world with grapes and wine.
Grapes, okay, but only in a bottle, as a bowl of
As a
wine,
bottle.
not the fresh one.
I suggest take wine instead of grapes.
Yes, sprouts. I could feel the defense mechanism of the sprout. At least maybe it was too young. Same I had with some mushrooms that I ate. It was like so I tried many different things. Coconut yogurt, I thought it'd be fine. Didn't work very well for me. And each food I could feel. I'm very sensitive, so I can have my own embodied experience of what works well with my body, and that's priceless.
That's the beauty of fasting, that by fasting, all your senses become highly awakened. And that's Tantra. Tantra is not just about sex, it's about awakening all your senses. So you start functioning from a very different level. Fasting that's why one of the greatest tantric tool to make your senses very sensitive. When you want to experience something which is extrasensory, belongs to the extrasensory perception, your senses need to become highly sensitive. And that sensitivity is regained by fasting. When you stop eating and you eat just a piece of papaya and your whole body feels it. You feel like this whole body orgasm, food orgasm, just by a piece of papaya. And those who are eating every day, they go on a stuffing, you are feeling nothing. Your senses are dead. You are eating so much spices, it's dead, you don't feel anything. So the body of a Buddha, the body of a meditator, the body of a yogi is different. They are the one who are experiencing life at a different level because they are so highly sensitive. Thank you for sharing your fasting experience. I think it was brilliant what you said, how you one by one fruit you took, then the other fruit you took, how you prepared your body, how you made food into your meditation. It was a brilliant, creative expression of your experience. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you, Guruji.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Brother, I really appreciate your sharing.
Thank you so much, and thank you for doing this episode again with me, Guruji, sharing your experience, sharing your knowledge and on the topic. And yeah, thank you so much to the listener. There'll be
Thank you to the
long
brilliant
documentary.
photographer.
There'll be a long documentary on the fast also, so you can check that out. It might be released from the moment you watch this video. If you like this video, want to support, you can like, share, subscribe. There'll be also the links to my brother Rishi here if you want to dive deeper. There's the episode about the yoga. And before we go, I'd like to give you the last words.
Feast and fast. Create a balance between your eating and not eating. That will solve most of your vyadhis, most of your diseases, most of your problems related to body, mind, embodiment. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Hey.